as seen in every 90s sci-fi movie. Fully immersive 3D computer-generated imagery is essentially virtual reality. Even in the early 90s, companies like the cleverly named Virtuality were releasing VR arcade games like Dactyl Nightmare that placed you right inside the cheesy, blocky action. The technology simply wasn't advanced enough to meet the vision, and attempts at true VR were underwhelming, to say the least. While technology has come a long way, we're still pretty damn far off from having a real-life holodeck, which, let's face it, is what we all want. The very first widescreen projection format, Cinerama, made IMAX look like a wussy. Projecting a Cinerama film meant projecting 3 synchronized 35mm projectors simultaneously onto a gigantic curved screen. While technically challenging to present and requiring a skilled projectionist or three, the results were visually astounding and far ahead of any other method of the time. Did we say technically challenging? We meant damn near impossible. Projecting 3 films with perfect synchronization is every bit as hard as it sounds, and there was no means of automation. The projectionist just had to be that good. Plus, very few theaters were willing to make the necessary and expensive modifications. As a result, only a couple of dozen films ever used the format. Long before Apple released the iPod and began dominating mobile devices up to one side and down the other, there was this 1993 ill-advised attempt at that market. The Apple II was essentially the father of all PDAs, and was innovative in many ways, but was ultimately a spectacular failure. The Apple II PDA never quite caught on due to a hugely inaccurate handwriting recognition system and an exorbitant price tag. Not to mention that it looks like a Commodore 64 mated with a tape recorder. The 1995 debut of the smaller, cheaper, and more functional Palm Pilot was the final nail in its coffin. The Newton was discontinued in 1998. Look familiar? That is a QR code, short for quick response, and they've been popping up all over the place for the last 10 years or so. Storefronts, packaging, you probably have one tattooed on your butt. They're like barcodes on crack. They serve the same purpose as barcodes but hold a lot more information. They were originally used to track parts during manufacture by the auto industry. But what fun is that when they can be used in advertising? The problem is, nobody knows what the hell to do with them. PR for the QR was severely lacking. A recent study showed that about 80% of college students, that most tech-savvy of demographics, have no idea what to do with the QR code. Hint. Scan them with some third-party app on your smartphone. And once we do figure it out, what's our reward? Why, intrusive, in-your-face advertising, of course, what tech-savvy consumers love most of all. I have no idea what went wrong.